right, welcome everybody. Hello and welcome to the closed stream. Of course, Tesla coming out soon, and we have a mixed day of results. I mean, we have US 100 coming down here 0.3%. We've got US 500 selling a little bit into the close. We'll talk about that. And if we scroll through the stocks, we'll notice that we have some stocks doing okay and some stocks doing terribly. Notably, NVAX is pretty much gone in the water here, negative 16%. So unfortunately, the biosciences in that area are not doing so well. And you'll notice that it seems to be like the hyper stocks, some of the big tech kind of driving over here, and in some ways expected. The only reason the S&P 500 is still up is because some of the older stocks and older companies are still doing a little bit better. Let's just take a look at these indices and we'll take a look at the sectors. So let's understand this a little bit better coming into the close. It's always important to understand what's doing well, what isn't. So we've got some pullbacks here. TAN, so that's the solar active or the solar area. That's down 1.83. Expectation is pretty normal there. It's been up so much over the last week, especially in the last previous session. And here's some interesting facts. Look at what's out above, everybody. We got XLV 1.37%. We got XLU up as well, XLRE. So we have two defensives sitting very, very high. And we've also even got the consumer staples getting up there as well, XLP. So look, some of the things that we expected this week are doing okay. We've got the materials, XLB, one of my favorite sectors at the moment. We've got XLI doing okay. And yeah, it's big tech and technology in general that's bringing down the market in terms of overall. And some of the old boomer stocks are holding up. And that's why we've got that US 30 Dow actually holding or going up and holding that US 500 also a little bit higher. How's everyone going today? I hope you're going very well. Crypto fans will be very, very happy. PayPal will recover. Yeah, it will recover. Yeah. I think PayPal's biggest problem is not really necessarily the business. It's probably the market cap size. Never mind Tesla. Check out a Bitcoin. Yeah, I saw 66,000 on Bitcoin. So it's smashed through that resistance, which is very cool. I mean, I was kind of hoping it would consolidate. And there are reasons for that. I think that it's better if you get a consolidation here. I mean, I'm still a fan. You know, I'm a fan of Bitcoin. I've never doubted its gloriousness at this time. And we'll look at Cardano in a few seconds because that's actually come alive. But in general, crypto markets are back. We're getting that run into what seems to be Thanksgiving. If it does run the same way, let's just quickly have a look at this. Go back to 17 for a second here, because I want to understand how the charts traded back then. And what you'll notice is that we have a pretty good ramp into the start of November. Then we actually sold off from around that 8th, 9th of November into the 12th. So we did get a pullback. So you've got to expect that this will occur through this run. We will get another pullback here. And then we had some pretty big ramping, obviously, to the December period. So just remember, I expect now for us to have a pretty brutal pullback at some point. There will be one. Will it be in the start of November? I tend to think so. I think it's going to be similar to last time. So because we've now got above 65, 64,000, we look towards the 70,000 level here for Bitcoin, which is a phenomenal gain. And I'm excited to see it go into the 70,000, which would be really cool. And if we hit 70,000, then I expect some sell-off. And that's probably going to be the level. So we probably go something like this, pullback. The next pullback will most likely now be around the standard size, which is about 20%. People forget that in crypto coins, that's what happens. It flash crashes. You lose about 20%. And it will probably now happen sometime early November. What do you guys think about crypto? What do you think about the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, and everything like that? Speaking of Ethereum, and we go over there, let's just quickly go to Ethereum. Cracking a new high, very strong. I positioned that this would go to 4,500. So it seems like that's probably the most logical conclusion here for Ethereum. Same thing as Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to 70, this thing's going through the gates, getting towards that 4,500. Cardano coming partially alive here. I'm not sure where the best level for Cardano is. I'm thinking it's 232 still. It's been in quite a lot of chop city, so you don't necessarily want that. There are heaps and heaps of cryptos into the close, but we'll focus probably on the market as much as possible now. That's not the link I want, because we need to have a look at this closure. They are selling off into the close, and that's all important. So let's get back to the Nasdaq. We theorized that today would be a down day because of the upward trend line on the S&P 500. I guess it is in some ways. I mean, the US 100 is selling off. It's down 0.32%. So technology has been down. This is off the back of 5 days up. Obviously, US 500 not the same. What is our expectation now? Let's just get rid of this line here. I would really like the markets to do this. Come back, test this 2050 moving average, and then dump back and then move back up. It's fairly healthy for it to do that. It also kind of still is in line with what I expect Wall Street to probably do, which is to push the FOMO effect. How many of you have been feeling FOMO? We've got 400 people out there right now. Has anyone felt the FOMO recently when it comes to this? Jay Nibble says, I couldn't hold crypto, scared me to death. I couldn't sleep once it started tanking. Let that be a lesson to you. Don't be like me. Take at least a little profit. I think a bit of it is probably you have too much exposure to it. If you have a amount that doesn't scare you, then you won't be scared. Sometimes people have too much exposure and they can't handle the risks. I think with crypto, you have to understand that you can lose 20 to 30% of your money like that. Just like a click, yeah? That's how fast it is. It is that fast. If you don't expect that and go into it expecting that, then you will fail in the crypto market. It's the reality. It's the reality. Mion says, no, I already have my positions. Vilmal says, I bought the dip. Which dip? Oh, you mean dip down here? Yeah, fair enough. Tom, any amount scares me? Probably need to work on that, Jay Nibble. We need to get you into a point where you feel more confident in what you're doing, because, yeah, that's always very important that you don't be scared. You should not be anything. Fully invested already, cannot feel anything, to Cooler Kevin. No worries. Well, that's good to hear. Quite a lot of you guys have already got your positions. So let's have a look here. I haven't shown pins, no, but I know where it is. Look, there's the glory of the pins. And what I will say is this is why it pays to be a smart brain. Did we talk about pins? Yes or no, chat? Have we spoken about pins quite a few times? Sandollar77 coming with the $4 super sticker. Thank you very much, Sandollar. Appreciate your support. I do have a coffee here, so I'll take a bit of a sip. Holy moly, 13.2%. Woo! We haven't forgotten PayPal. We'll come back to it. I also like that one, so don't worry. I know it's down 5%. But yeah, pins up 13.13%. Big boom, filled the gap. People took profit on the fill. So yeah, massive, massive move here. There's that. Well, it's filling this. No, sorry, it's not filling the gap. What am I talking about? The gap's here, but it is filling up to this resistance, and that's why it's kind of selling off. I don't blame people for taking some profit here. It actually beat my expectation. I thought we'd kind of hit into that 60 and then find a little bit of resistance. So look, fantastic move ahead of earnings. I think this is what happens sometimes when you find these sleepers and you find the correct kind of breakout and you find the correct type of technical. Often it will just boom and run into what you're looking at. So look, fantastic work if you got it. If you didn't get it, oh well, on to the next one. So if people want to look at PayPal, fair enough. So this is still a good technical, and it's sold off aggressively today. And basically, the reason why I say it's good technical is you still have a good base. It should hold this zone. If it doesn't, then of course the trade is over. And that's what it is. Now, PayPal has now broken 3 fairly good patterns, and I think people are probably a bit pissed off at it. This was a good pattern. Stuff that. This support was okay, and it went under that. And then this is going good. So in general, you need to learn something about these types of trades, and this sometimes comes into it. If you understand whether a stock trades technically or not, you can make better decisions. And PayPal, in many ways, is not trading correctly. And what I mean by that is, I still hope this comes back up and gets back through and gets back to our level here. But it stuffed three great technicals here. You had a flag. That's a flag. It closed above. It was angling towards those highs. It didn't do it. It then failed to hold this level. Not that it had a great entry point here, but it failed to hold this level, failed to hold the support, and failed to hold here. When you have that type of thing going on in the stock, you've got to say, okay, is this thing trading technically? Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's trading more based on some kind of news or some kind of emotion or something like that. It's very bizarre. And I think that's very important to notice. PayPal itself, though, is not a bad company. We don't know what the earnings is going to be. I don't know exactly why it's down here. I haven't had a chance to look over the news for it. But yeah, that support is where it should hold. And I don't like the fact that it's not trading technical, because it's very frustrating when you get stocks that do this. And remember, learn from the left to understand the right. There was a lot of technical stuff coming out of PayPal. It had been doing it before, but it isn't doing it at the moment. Very important fact. Is it on support? Yes. Is this the area we expect to hold? Absolutely. Let's hope it does. Courtney coming in with a $4.99 donation. Thank you very much, Courtney. No message, but I appreciate your support of the channel. Thank you so much. And then we've got Darren Jones, $10. Bitcoin hit a new high. Cheers, Tom. Congratulations, Darren. Yes, Bitcoin got smoking there. 66,000. And you think now it's going towards that 70, possibly even 75. I do think the next pullback, though, 20% now, because we've just smashed through a resistance, no consolidation. That usually leads to a fairly large, you know what it is, crypto fam, you know what it is, those big kind of pullbacks. Will it happen now? Doubtful, but you've got to expect it in the future now. Lucian Sec 50. I sold 50 pins today on the ramp. Cool. Then bought PayPal at the bottom. Tom, you rock. Well, that's cool, Lucian. Yeah, it's not too bad down here, but I am still annoyed that technical doesn't hold up. George says, yep, I'm pissed at PayPal. No logic in its TA. You are correct. And unfortunately, that's a big thing. And Courtney says, Tom, been meaning to do the tip jar for a while. Appreciate it, Courtney. But thanks. I love the stream. I very much appreciate that. Very much so. Where was that last question I had? Mark Wilkins. Morning, Tom. Quick TA base set up on BK would be great. Yeah, we'll check that out in a second. So 16 minutes into the close, we have a medium kind of day here. Some stocks down, some stocks up. Obviously, we've got to look at Tesla here. Tesla's holding. So it's basically doing its thing. I wonder what would happen if Bitcoin was going down. As we know, well, we suspect Tesla's, got that holding still in it, doesn't it? So yeah, it's exciting times. I mean, if you're holding Tesla, you're invested, you're going to be very excited. You're obviously going to be looking forward to seeing this result. We are still at that technical resistance or around that level. We smashed through. We could be looking at days and days and days of ramp. My suspicion, complete guess, this is from a trader's perspective, not from an investor's perspective, is we might see a little bit of a dip. And if we do get the dip, and this is a complete guess, it's not based on anything other than just stats and the old kind of earnings, is even if they do knock it out, there's probably going to be something the market goes meh about. And then if we do get the pullback, then there could be even another opportunity. So for, buyers and people to get into. I think the thing is, whenever we've seen Tesla earnings, we've generally seen a fairly strong ramp after the earnings as well. So the earnings have come out, and then all of a sudden we've either seen huge selling, which is what happened over here, but then we saw actually quite a lot of buying. Now, we're not over here anymore. There's certain things Tesla has fixed from that point. So while we did get that initial sell-off, we then got a ramp. While we did get that initial sell-off, we got a ramp afterwards. We got the initial sell-off and then ramp, very little result-based movement here. So I'm wondering whether that's the way Tesla trades. What is the chat thinking? We've got 550 people here. Let us know. What are you thinking? Remember, smash that like button as well, guys. What are you thinking about Tesla's earnings? And then while we look at that, we will check out this Becca thing. Nice base, man. Yeah. Yep. Nice. You're spotting the correct stuff. You are correct. So Mark Wilkins, you are correct. You have found nice base. Would prefer the volume is up, and I think you would agree with that. But the good news is, see where the volume starts. So the volume started to pick up, obviously, through the crash component, but it stayed relatively high here. I would have liked it to still stay a little bit higher, but this is a flat double bottom or a channel with the signs of recovery. I'll follow the stock. So let me just quickly load this up. I'll follow the stock for the next couple of weeks. And while it's a big long shot because you're buying something that has very little data on, I think it's only been on the market for 1 year, that's the type of pattern you look for. If you saw this on a more established stock, you'd be very happy with it. Be careful of earnings, 33 days away. But overall recovery, that's the closeout that you're looking for. Sam S says, FX Evolution, PayPal dumped and pins pumped because PayPal rumors are buying pins. Oh, are they? I didn't even know what it was. I just saw the price and I went, hell yeah. Hell yeah. There you go. Thanks, Sam S. You got to remember, guys, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning for me. So I only get up pretty much, get ready for the stream, look at the S&P, look at the Nasdaq. And if I have some profit, I'll take it. That's about it. So thank you very much. Well, there you go. So it's like the double combo wombo. Oh, no wonder PayPal went down. Yeah, whenever you're purchasing something, it's always going to go down. And it's funny that the two best TAs that we saw this week, one of them gets punished for making the other one come through with the goods. I guess that makes sense why it's gone so aggressive. And, you know, the stupid thing about it is it's clear to see that the market there was some loose lips here on the deal. Yeah. Why suddenly does it show that technical boom, and then we go through? Thank you, Sam S. That would make perfect sense. Fantastic. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, in any way, if that's true, then the PayPal support should really hold, depending on the nature of the deal. Yeah. All right, let's check out the Apples and everything coming into the close. Apple continues to have a little bit of a boom here. Amazon down. That's okay. I don't mind if Amazon comes down here a little bit. Google down. Okay, that's interesting. Microsoft down. Let's now check the FANG, because I think the FANG is always important to have a look at here technically. So you'll notice it smashed that right side resistance, and it's kind of just coming down to a support level here. So nothing to be concerned about with the FANG, with the market. I wouldn't mind for it to do this. So ideally, I like that trade there. And that's the way that I'm kind of looking at the market right now. If we can get a little bit more of a pullback, and if we can get a little bit more of a, I guess you would say, dip purchase, it would be ideal for market health, because you don't really want a market that just goes bam, 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 V-shape all the way. I like markets that do this. That is very cool. I go tick of approval. And in many ways, it traps retail investors. So 10 minutes after the close, up to the close, does anyone have stocks that are breaking out today? I always want to see breakouts into the close. That's the key thing. Let's take a look at TDOC. Are we in recovery here yet on this? I think the first sign was yesterday through the close. That was the first sign of recovery we've seen on TDOC. Let's take a look at the weekly story here, because this is a sleeper and a half if it can get going. We know it's hard to call if it gets going because it's been down for so long. So there's some things I like about this chart. I'm going to explain it. So there was buying here. There was buying here, buying here, buying here. This is what we call maximum pain, not from an options perspective, but from a TA perspective. The market has come underneath a level that no one expected. It went so bad that everyone's like, oh, this company sucks completely. I'm done with this. I'm so done with this. And I bet you no one's talking about TDOC anymore. Have you ever heard anyone talking about this anymore? I don't think you probably would, because it's been so out of the limelight for so long. And that's when you want to think about those pins, those TDOCs, those types of stocks. So all of this downward trend slope definitely has been closed above. This is a practice scale concept. Obviously, it's risky because we know these types of stocks are. But yeah, it's at that point where it's starting to close out. And when you're trying to get these recovery plays, you've got to be realizing that you're looking for more than just a standard trade. you're basically trying to pinpoint the point where a market that is tanked or a stock that is tanked is turning around. You're not always going to be correct, but when you are correct, you're going to get big gains. Now, you got lucky on pins because it happened very quickly. And TDOC, you're talking 140 into 160 minimum, and I'm thinking 170, possibly even 200 on this stock. Now, that seems crazy, but that's kind of the expectation. The biggest problem with this trade is earnings. 7 days away. If it fails to meet expectations, that is a big issue for it. That is a big issue for it. Etsy having another pretty damn good day. It's breaking up again. The technicals seem to be holding on Etsy, which is good news. And I guess it's going towards that 250 kind of ahead of earnings. It's probably going to be somewhere around this resistance ahead of the earnings area. Darren Jones, $10. Thank you very much. Tom, it's ugly, but I think I see a head and shoulders pattern forming on the 1 day. What is your opinion? Which stock, Darren? Which stock? I may need to know that. Let me bring up my Discord so I'm ready. Who is the other dude in the thumbnail? There's a thumbnail? Huh. I thought wait, what did I put for today's thumbnail? I thought I put the little bull. Let me have a look here. What did I do? Oh, I didn't. I put the other one. Oh, that's Tyrone and myself. No wonder this isn't working. That's my business partner, the guy I traded with. Well, we started the company together. Let me just quickly bring this up. I'll tell you what, if you ever own a channel, guys, you actually can't monetize live streams unless you click the button, and it will unclick itself as well. Let me just quickly fix this. Need to fix this. There we go. That's fixed. Thank you very much. So I'm not sure which one you're talking about there, Darren, but we'll check it out. Hopefully when you come back. And we've got David G. Thank you very much. Australian $10. Appreciate it, man. Hi, Tom. For educational purposes only, I'm sure everyone else has been in the same position. If my mate was holding Trip 40 December calls, would you sell or hold today? Yeah, I noticed Trip was down. So let's have a look at the Trip stock. Price action is pretty crappy. I'm not happy with that closeout and where it is. The story was so good coming into it, though. So we have buy week, closure out weekly. From a technical perspective, you've got to think about where would you get. So say you hold a call, you've kind of got to say, okay, well, I've taken out the risk. I know my worst case because my worst case is obviously time related. So you've got to then say, well, where would my stop losses be if I was holding this position from a CFD perspective? Would I have my stop losses underneath the low? Would I allow it to get at least underneath 33? And I feel like you got to give it some time, or would I have it under here and I would have already been stopped out? I think that's really, really important. We got that closure, and then we got these two nasty daily candles. Yesterday, we didn't like the fact that it was coming down. So we need it to get back above 36, 37. You all got 40 up here, which is a fair call rate. When is it till? Oh, sorry, December, theoretically. So you got a bit of time on it. I think that you've got to go with where would your stop losses be? And that's what I'd probably ask the question, David G, of. It's a good TA. It's a good base here. In some ways, people will say, oh, well, it hit the first resistance of 39. Yeah, that's partially true. And that the problem is then what's going to happen is people will say, well, that's where it is. So actually, this is all part of the base. And that's the problem and why you've got to practice scaling in, because we do have issues. I mean, we've got the 200, you've got the base. If the story was good, but if you draw a slightly different, TA level of resistance, notice how all of a sudden it becomes like, oh, well, we're still in the base. So I think from the Trip perspective, you've probably got to think about where the stop loss is. And when you find that, theoretically, you'll be making pretty good decisions. So you've got 4 minutes till the close here. How are we going with the stock market? We've got US 100 still selling off. US 500 is pulling back. I do expect this pullback. Now I know that everyone it makes it seem like, oh well, it didn't happen today, Tom, and yesterday you said, oh, don't expect, kind of expect a little bit of weakness. I guess depending on how you look at it, I'm correct. 0.31 down on the NAS and barely up on the US 500. It's just struggling there. So what do you guys think about tomorrow's position? Do you think it's going to be up or down in the markets? Let us know in the chat. And thank you, 633 people that are joining us here into the close. We've got Tesla earnings coming up, slight green, people buying into that close. What other stocks that I want to look at? We have a few here. So we've got SoFi. I think that's just bullying, isn't it? Yeah. So SoFi hit the 21. I actually saw some pretty good technical draw up on this. This is from a student in the private room who sent me this one. I tend to agree the 21 is kind of a resistance, and then the 23 is the next resistance there for me. Nothing too much, just kind of into it. I can't believe this stock is back and trading at $25. That is unbelievable to me. Hertz Group Holdings. Not for me, this one, not for me. Then we've got Uber broke ascending channel. I like ascending channels. Let's have a look. When you say broke, you mean broke to the downside. Yes, correct. You did break to the downside. And you got your resistance here. Not strong enough for my liking towards the short, but yeah, if you're looking at it and you like this stock, you're starting to talk about that 44 again for here. SPLK looking to break 165. SPLK, the sleeper boomer inverse head and shoulders thing that just continues to slowly creep up there. Don't expect insane returns out of this. It is slow. Our expectation is for it to get back to this 185 area, but I've told you many times, this is an investment style position that is incredibly slow, like my CRM position, that is boring, 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 boring. So if you're ready for that, then you can get into these things. So people looking at others, Llama Mama says Tesla will push NDX up, then dump. Okay. And people's expectations for tomorrow is a mixture of ups and downs, which is pretty good. It means that people are looking at both types of things. Tom, SPY looks like it's breaking out. Really? Oh, you mean breaking out of this little down channel? Yeah, I don't usually draw these, and there are reasons for it. I just think this one was fair enough because we have so much support. We had such a great ascending channel that we used for a while, and then we did see it find resistance here. When you've got a story of 5 or 6 plus gap days coming through, this does tend to be that kind of resistance. So we've just closed there. Here we go. We've got a lot of releases, 0.32%. So a bit of boom into the end of the day. Nasdaq slightly bought near the close. So another bullish intentions kind of session. Pretty marginal. US 30 Dow up the most. IWM up 0.65%. And let's have a look at Tesla into the close. So when do we get that result? Does it come immediately? Where are we? Just go and grab this. INTC. Yeah, we can do INTC. We're just going to watch Tesla first, then we'll go through a few others. Let me just bring my Koifin up. Look at PayPal post. We can put both. All right. Dan Ibarra says, I suppose PayPal looking to purchase pins. Yeah, the purchase usually goes down. So usually that's pretty much the way it kind of goes there. So we've got Tesla a little bit after the market so far, down a little bit. There we go. And someone just mentioned 900. I must be delayed with this data. Let me have a look at my other data. Eli says Tesla is coiling. I think you need a little bit more for a coil, sir, but yeah, fair enough. Silver stocks are moving. AG, Lightning Bolt. Yeah, silver doing much better. Silver's phenomenal looking chart compared to gold. If you actually look, it's the inverse head and shoulders. I covered it last night. I missed it. I missed it as a trade. 864 Tesla. Yeah, that's what I've got as well. All right. Well, while we wait for that, you guys can let me know when it's out and we'll go check it out. Let's have a quick look at silver because I do want to mention it. It's a phenomenal trade. I missed it, guys. I got to say, I missed it. Sometimes you miss things. Oh, well, what do you do? So here's the downtrend. You can all see it. Here's the previous resistances, something we talk about a lot. But take a look at the elephant in the room here on the 4 hour. Oh my God. I can't believe I actually missed this trade. I'm pretty sad about it. So here's the left shoulder, here's the right, the head, here's the right. It's a lot of what we talk about. You've got the big neckline here, and then we get that big pullback, bam. But you know why it's so good? Look at the moving averages. We've got 200 daily SMA. We've got the 20 and the 50 all on the line. That's a good trade, boys and girls. That is a good trade. I like it so much. I was sad last night when I saw it, which is the morning of the US for the Wednesday Open. And the best thing about it is if you actually take the distance, check it out. It proofs perfectly. Very solid. Very solid. Tesla earnings in 2 minutes. Thank you very much, Jay Nibble. Appreciate that. Russian collusion, Tesla to floor. All right, this is the time where we guess things. So guys, chat, 600 of you right now. What is Tesla going to open at after earnings? Tell us right now. Give you your price expectations. I will give you mine as soon as you give me yours. So let's see what you guys think. People want us to do net. My opinion is net is in blow-off phase, so it's going to blow off. This is too much gains with very little reason. It's a great company. I love the company. I have never shied away from saying net is very fantastic, but this is not normal. And when you get so far away from daily and you start to have that faltering, I'd be incredibly careful of this trend here, guys. It's awesome to follow, and you can see the 1 hour 20 has been the pullback zone, but don't ever forget about the old sneaky, lightning bolt down, because all of a sudden you'll be back at the daily 20 with nothing else to do. So we've got here a whole bunch of different calls. We've got 870s, everything. We've got, oh my goodness, people are picking all sorts of things. So here it is. It's come out. Obviously, people are expecting. So we've got, 1 minute till it comes out? Or has it come out? And that's the level. 873 so far. Went down, then up. Need to go on a minute chart to understand this one. Yeah, I think I might have missed a super chat, so I'll get Dave's. Yep, Scott Morgan's. $5. Here's my first trade since taking the master's class. HCAT on the 2 hour inverse head and shoulders, taking profit at 53.50. You like it? I'll check it out in a second, Scott. I did see it before. It just went off my list when I asked about So many people on Tesla. I wouldn't mind if the result doesn't move the market much. That would be cool. That means we can resume whatever the hell we're doing. Because basically the price that's packed in is correct to the current price. So surely it's out by now. Tesla, third quarter gross margin 26.6%, estimated 24.2%. So slightly better. Good. That means that the price being insane should, is in like the ramp into earnings, should be in line. Because if you beat by a decent percentage, then you can hold the price. Well, that's good news. Tesla holders will get their basically very little kind of change in price, as is per tradition of the last one. And then we allow the TA to take over. So now, if that's true, and if we hold this 870 area, and if this is just like a flat kind of return, which at the moment it seems to be, according to the post market anyway, we're looking at that 880. Let's see if we can get a crack above that, move above 880, 900, and all of a sudden we're talking about the $1,000 mark. Because if Tesla, remember, if Tesla holds its earnings, that's a big deal. Holding is good in itself. Holding is good in itself. Lunch money, Tesla Q3 EPS 1.86 beats 1.57. Thank you very much, guys. You and Alberlo, appreciate that. Slow cap for Tesla. Yeah, we'll say thank you very much for hitting around the expectations. So now the aftermarket will figure out what it wants to do. All of a sudden, it doesn't like it. Remember, 1-2% each way. Some people won't be able to understand if you have a beat how the market can go down. Look at Netflix as a great example of this. We'll just quickly check that out. So if we go over to Netflix, a lot of you that understand fundamentals, you may need to just really rethink the way that you think about markets from a perspective of beats and misses. The market, and I want the chat to answer this while I do HCAT, the market will always go into earnings feeling a word, okay? It will always be something into earnings, and it will be very something into that earnings. What is the word, guys? Let's see if anybody figures it out. HCAT, yes, is a decent trade, Scott. So you're basically looking at inverse head and shoulders. You found a good one. 2 hours here. Yes. You've done well. You probably want to practice scaling here. Based on that 2 hour, there is that one little candle that's come down. So you've got your closure out, which is good. You're looking for that. And then, of course, you've got your distance. Let's see if it proofs. I'll watch it for you if you'd like for the next couple of days. Thank you very much for doing the course. And yeah, this is the right type of thing you're looking for. So you got 52 and 54, both being important levels in the future. You've found a stock that is recovering. It's gotten through the 20. And it does look relatively good. I'll add that in. HCAT. Health Catalyst Inc. Not bad. Dave, can you ask Darren which stock he's talking about? That's right. Optimistic. Good work. Optimistic is the key word. So whenever you're looking at a stock coming into earnings, it's always going to come in optimistic in general, especially if it's come in hyped or it's come in with strong left-hand side. You can tell optimism based on the price. If you have an optimistic stock and the stock is looking phenomenal coming in, it goes straight into a resistance, more than likely, especially when it's like a 20% gain like this, more than likely it has to beat the expectation and beat it by a percentage. Now, that percentage might be the market expects something, so they expect a certain amount earnings per share. You will have to beat or smash that expectation by like a level. And usually the level is in the top 3/4 of whatever that is. So earnings per share, I want to beat that, and I want to beat that by a certain percentage, and they're always sitting around here. So a lot of people can't understand, oh, they smashed earnings, they should be going up. Look at the left-hand side, look at the resistances and the supports the price has gone to, and you'll fully understand, oh, okay, it's been packed into price already. Optimism is a thing the market does. The market is always optimistic. And in general, that's part of the reason why we get such high valuations in the market. Ulrich Nielsen, DKK, $50. How did you miss silver, Tom? I've posted it on Discord for the past 10 days since I longed at 22.6. I know, man. I look at a lot of markets, Ulrich, but yeah, I'm stupid to miss it. I'll admit I missed it. Why not? But it's all right. I must admit, I was just mostly looking at gold and in terms of just waiting for what I call like a seasonal event, which you know. But the great thing, let's just talk about this. I missed this. Do I like this? Hell yeah, I like this. It's fantastic. Good work, Ulrich, for getting it. Why do I miss it? Oh, well, sometimes you're not going to be in front of the charts. You're not going to be spotting it. You're going to get other ones. Move on to the next one. There's always another opportunity. There was pins this week. Arguably, there was obviously that PayPal, which looked good, but then they ruined it by offering on pins. We got silver here, fantastic trade on the commodities. You've had oil over the last week. You've had the S&P 500 and Nasdaq returns. You've had Apple with the breakout. You've had Amazon with the lightning bolt. You get a lot. Like Amazon could be a really good one in the future. You get a lot of action coming through in the markets. Never feel FOMO, guys. There's always another opportunity. I really want anyone today that's watching to know that there's always another opportunity on the other side. Okay. There always is. Even if the market's booming and you think that you've missed it because you missed the easy money in the Apple or the Google or the Facebook or whatever, there's always another opportunity somewhere. So look, Intel continues to look pretty strong here. However, we do have earnings coming up. So once we get earnings, we will know more about this price action. But I do like currently the left-hand side, which is weekly bullish hammer, long leg doji. At this stage, it would be close above. If this is how it closed, let's say just above the 50 at the end of the week, I'll be certainly looking at the seasonal Intel strength into November. We'll talk about that soon. Oh, it's AMC. My God. Sorry, Darren. I keep missing AMC for you. Let me check this out. We're going to do AMC right now for Darren. I see a bullish Head and Shoulders. I apologize about that, sir. Daily, you see bullish Head and Shoulders. And you say ugly. Yeah, I think it might be ugly. I don't really see any kind of pattern here so much. I'm just going to go around a couple of time frames. I don't see any pattern, but let's just talk about the merits of the AMC at the moment. So the merits are we're holding the 20 weekly, very important, because that means that it is holding some strength still in here and it's holding a big technical. I would have thought that 41 breakout was bigger than it has been. So this kind of upsets me in terms of I would like to have seen that. Now, I think what you're talking about from an inverse Head and Shoulders perspective may be that you think it's a left here, and then you go head, and then you've got maybe a pullback here, and then it turns right, and then you've got like that. Don't think so much about the pattern. Think about the story that it's telling you. So currently the market story is we've gone down to a low. We've found, of course, buying. We've broken through a pretty key level here where we had a bunch of rejections and then we got through. We had a big rejection off this level. We have closed above that. And right now we're consolidating in a bit of an uneasy spot. If we get back up, let's say we get back up above here, the next zone logically should be for us to clean this level 48. I think part of the reason why it sold off so aggressively is it filled this gap. So you filled the gap to 44 and it just went bang. I didn't expect it to even care about that gap so much, but I think that's why it's come back down. It still looks more bullish to me than bearish at this stage with that big closure out. You've got lots of wicks. Those wicks got smashed. If you go to the bodies, so let's say we go all the way down to the body areas here, because remember, these are all bearish gap ups and then down. This is the level. that we do expect it to kind of come off. And you've still got the 2050 on the daily behind it. So all of this support, this little marginal kind of support here should hold it. Is it the most pretty thing in the world? No. Would I usually trade this? I guess I would have probably scaled a portion if I liked it right here. And I would have been looking for $48. But I think the gap close is why it's come back down. People have taken the gap close. Must hold here, and we need it to start ramping. Look for small time frame lightning bolt turnarounds. At this stage, it's not showing it. But if it does and it starts ramping back up, expect it to smash 44 and go towards the 48. Hopefully that helps, sir. Let's go back over to the Tesla, see the post-market kind of discussion here. So it is holding, which is good news. SP Rocket, $5. Hey, sir, let's get a quick peek at Berkshire Hathaway. I heard a compelling case for it as inflation hedge long term. Yeah, fair enough. I think that it could be pretty strong from that aspect. I mean, basically, this is just a huge amount of insurances and railroady things and staples and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it can certainly do okay for that based on the companies that it owns. I think it's in consolidation at this point. It's had a great breakout. Look, I think this was a bit of a sleeper in the recovery. So this was obviously a better kind of November play. You know, you got that ramp up. It's been consolidating for some time. So it's in a giant channel. And you can actually play options on this stock a little bit based on the fact that what it holds. But in general, this kind of market is really just a giant channel. This breakout here was the real deal. That's a good little double bottom inside the channel. Where does the distance go? Well, you expect it now to go back up to the top, which is going to be around that $292. Once it breaks the channel, what's your expectations to the buy side? Well, it becomes this. So it's a good spot from a TA. It's slow and steady. It is not the speed demon of other stocks. So you've got to remember that. It is not as fast as everything else, but SP Rocket, that's the way I look at it. Channel at this stage, double bottom just kind of broke through, 2050 cross daily, looking like the rest of the market. It'll go up. If it breaks through this, our expectation is to smash 300 and go towards that 310 level. Thank you, Darren, again. Appreciate it. I'm sorry I missed the AMC there before. Only knock on BRKB is no dividends. The very thing Buffett doesn't like about the stock. Go figure. Yeah, it's kind of like pretty ridiculous, isn't it? Alian says NET. We've looked at NET before. My opinion on NET is that I love the company, but way too much growth recently in the stock. And I've done SoFi, Ginny. You can just go check out a little bit before. Basically the 21 resistance currently, and then the next level. So market has sold off a little bit more in terms of the futures. We've got that little bit down here in the US 100. I think that's starting to show that weakness coming through from the recovery so far. US 500 up a little bit more than I would have hoped today. Of course, I was hoping for a down day. We got it in the NAS. We didn't get it in the S&P. If I was thinking what's going to be the next session, I would expect down, purely because we're starting to see some cracks in some of the profit taking here across all of these red stocks on the right-hand side. And this makes me lead into thinking, yes, okay, let's get that pullback. And just to reiterate, my thought process here is not crash, go back into a correction, dead cat bounce. Anyone else that says those types of things, I doubt it. My thought process is, can we get back here and then go up? That would be fantastic. That would be exactly what Wall Street usually does, and a very nice position. Now, would I be scared if I'm long? Hell no. I'm holding. Let's hodl. I'm hodling here. I'm hodling myself. But yeah, 15,000, 2050 cross. That's the level that we're looking for the pull up. If it can get back down there, fantastic zone. So I've got targeted. US 500, similar target would be around that 44.30. Will it happen? Time will tell. Is this still in play? Yeah, I would say so. US 500 there. Let's check out the SPY. So that's the one that people are saying is broken through. Yeah, I guess so. I wouldn't care too much about that because when you look at the SPX, which is the real market, it's right on it. Lunch Money says the market will not correct until FANG earnings are out next week. Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I mean, I'm guessing. We're all guessing. I'm not really too fussed. I mean, we had to go long when we saw the lightning bolt come through, and that's how it is. I mean, basically, we're just hoping it pulls back to the same area. And I'm only saying I'm hoping because I think for a lot of people out there, it's nice to see this kind of consistency from TA and from the market. And we've had it before. I mean, here's the ramp, the pullback. It's fairly traditional that you get this, the ramp, the pullback later. It's just traditional. If you ever see these kind of usual recoveries, and we even go look at the left-hand side, other than the last two, I guess last three, you would say, most recoveries in most markets follow the same kind of thing. They come up pretty hard, create the FOMO, drop. Everyone thinks it's still fearful market, and then it turns around. Remember, market's optimistic, but that's one of the traps. And it would make a lot of sense, but not everything always makes sense. There are a lot of upward gaps in the SPX. That's correct, Brian. And that's why I think you should look to fill some of those. Actually, Ian did some good work on gap analysis, if you haven't seen my video. And he worked out that most gaps will fill kind of over that first 7 to 9 days. And if they don't fill, it really drops off statistically. And then, of course, 91% of all gaps fill. But the problem is, and 75% of all gaps fill in the first 30 days. However, that last kind of percentage points, it could take years to get the up gaps filled. So just remember, it's usually a correction that fills them all, because this is only for up gaps taken from 1927 to 2021. I got to say, big shout out to Ian, big shout out to the community in general that's providing me with extra resources to help you guys. That's awesome. UEC finally broke out. Let's have a quick look. Boy, oh boy, as well. That was a huge rebound on oil. Check that out, oil rebound. I was almost skeptical of this yesterday, this 50 exponential. If you were trading the 4 hour, though, you could have picked it. So I talked about this in the live, and I'll show you why I was skeptical of it. Look at that daily. Oh, my God. If they belt this, guys. I mean, I've howled, but that 4 hour, oh, that's a good reversal. Nice little bullish hammer. Get the follow through. Okay, cool. 50's in play. Takes out these highs. Let's go 86. Let's go 86. UEC, Uranium Energy Corp. Yep, that's pretty nice. Uranium coming back into play. This stock does not make you sad. I remember when we were talking about this UEC and it came through here and went boom. Remember when everyone was crapping on about it? And then all of a sudden it dumped again. And then, of course, it's consolidated and now it's breaking out. Yep, that's a great breakout past the previous high. Very significant. Good story on the left side as well. Not fantastic compared to other stocks, but not bad. Look at the ASX. Sure, we can check out the ASX. Which one do we want? So I guess we'll use the futures. Futures at resistance at this point. Similar to the Nasdaq and S&P, futures just at the resistance. Great recovery off the 71.36. It's at resistance. Obviously got highs over here. Similar to the other market, I wouldn't mind if it goes to like a 7,300 and then bounces off that. It's at resistance, is how I see it. Rapid fire, I've already kind of gone through a lot of stocks for today. So the story of the session is really the movement in the crypto market. Crypto alts should be starting to get fired up soon as well. They'll be very far behind. So let me just refresh the crypto alts. So I mean, Uniswap up 5.64%. Let's have a look at all-time highs here. So all-time highs were 43. We're now at all-time highs on Bitcoin. So the sleepers will probably be in the alts themselves. And if we go to CoinMarketCap, what you'll notice is we've got Bitcoin 7-day percentage, and you scroll through and you say, okay, well, Polkadot's doing the right thing. It's already moving. Uniswap is probably a little bit slow, often is. Avalanche certainly going with the speed here. Chainlink's behind, but that's partly due to the tech and some people competing with them at the moment. VE Chain's pretty damn disappointing. Filecoin, I don't even talk about that other one. DAI, Theta, a lot of these are behind where they have been in the past. And you'll notice that the altcoin market, some are doing okay, but some are well down. So this is the area where a lot of people are going to speculate in the future. And obviously it's a risky area to speculate. I've always preferred you go with the big ones. And that will be an interesting time when we see the alts start to rotate. To finish up the session, Tesla 0.56% down after earnings, basically beat all expectations, but price was already packed in. It's good news for technical traders. We'll do a recap of it in a video soon. And it's going to be good. Finken says, imagine Tesla when 2 more factories are pumping at full production. God, it's just a money printing press. Yes. Tesla over Papa Pal. Yeah. And PK Subban says Tom QCOM is breaking out. Let's have a look at QCOM. Super disappointing stock. Had to come all the way back down. It broke out once before as well and didn't go the distance it should have. That's why I've kind of been loath to really look at it again. Once you broke every technical last time and you stuffed around in this area here, that was lame. The seasonal strength came in for about 2 seconds and then it kind of just sat. And that's why you've got to look at it. I wouldn't say so much it's like an incredible breakout. I mean, all the semiconductors are moving up, but I don't really trust the semiconductors moves due to supply constraints and all other things. I don't love the chart. It's hard for me to read. Maybe a little pullback and then up. Yeah, look, it came off great support. If you purchased it down here, I can see why an investor would buy there. 124, they're getting the price again. They think things have improved. Okay, let's do it. It's a good buy, but I don't like any trades there so much. That's just my opinion. I'd wait for the guidance from Tesla before pulling any triggers. Yeah, I agree. Giovanni says, hi, Tom. How's Roku looking short term through? We'll check it out. I'm in the wrong list. 1 second. What did I say I was going to do? Roku. I think Roku's shown the signs of the recovery we were looking for. It's gotten through the daily 20. It's just marginal pickups here. Some people call this inverse head and shoulders. There's the right. This will be the neckline then. So you're literally looking for it to come back down. Let's say, what is this? 330. Worst case kind of scenario. It comes back down here. And then you're looking for that bounce. And you'll notice if you take that distance, it'll push it into this resistance over here. So Roku looks okay on the charts. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I think I've got everybody and I caught up to all the donations. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much to Darren. I hope you've got some good luck. It looks like Tesla came out with the goods. I mean, and they basically hit the expectation, even though they obviously beat the market. They hit the price action expectation. It'll be slightly down here post. I don't think it's anything necessarily to be concerned about. Now we go back to the standard TA. Let's wait for more guidance. As they said, guidance is a big thing. And I would like to actually see a daily 20 test. That would be pretty sweet. And then a recoup. So we've hit the resistance. For a lot of traders now, they'll be looking for a breakout of that resistance so they can continue going long. but we will do it in our covering of the aftermarket show. Futures down here on the US 100 slightly, US 500 finding some weakness, but not that much, 0.21%. Overall, relatively strong into the close, and everything's been about the crypto market today. So thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow at the close again. And remember to subscribe, smash that like button. It helps us out a lot. Thank you so much. See you later, guys. Bye.